Our next art talk is artist Maria DeAngelo. Welcome.
First, thanks for the opportunity to speak. I'll start with just telling you a little bit about me, and then these are two of my works, and I have another work over there. I'm very grateful to be able to show at Gallery 5. I grew up around here. I grew up out toward Marival Lake, and I went to Shellman High School. And I've always been the kid who was like picking up shells and anything I found, little scraps of fabric. So I've always been attracted, I guess I'm a magpie, I've always been attracted to color and light and pattern and anything really tactile that I can get my hands into, especially messy things. So my interest in art started young, and I think my parents kind of nurtured that interest because it was a good way to harness my really busy and body and mind, because I was the kind of kid who would just go until I fell asleep on the coffee table. So art gave me an outlet, but also showed me my passion. It's where I ended up finding myself and later find my husband, but that's another story. So I went to Shellman High School, and in our school, my friend Heidi Hoffman and I, when Proctor's was kind of being revitalized when we were in our high school years, and we did what was called a Festival of the Arts. We put it on, we got kids from the drama group, kids from music, kids from art, and we just put it on an evening to raise money for Proctor's. And now looking back at it, I go, well, that was kind of ambitious for a couple of seniors, but it was something that we were all passionate about, and it was about community. And the more I look at what I do, it's as an individual, but it's a lot about being part of a group, sharing art with others, creating art to be shared with others, and helping other people nurture and grow their art. So when I graduated, I went on to Alfred University, and I went to the New York State College of Ceramics, and there I got my Bachelor's of Fine Arts in printmaking and painting, and went on to be a teacher for a long time. I returned to the area to care for family, and when I did that, I realized I was going to kind of increase what I did as a studio artist, because I was spending, well, as both our last two speakers who've taught, you put a lot of energy into those people around you, and then it's good to kind of help channel that energy back into your own art too. You find yourself that way. So I'm kind of an off-roader in art. I work in one thing, and then I drive off and I try something else. I'm a really big proponent of just learning. And for me, it's, show up, work hard, and what else can I learn? What can I figure out today? So at Alfred, we kind of had a philosophy of material, learning the material, and what can that material do? And then, okay, great, now what can you do with that material that hasn't been done before? How far can you push it? And I think I carry that now into my studio work, in that I have a daily practice for every day. I create a small work, and it may be the only work I get done in the studio that day because of other commitments. But for me, it's like my art fix. And in addition to that, I work on bigger things. So a couple years ago, I became an artist in residence at Arlene's, Artist Materials, and through there, I got my other fix, which is teaching. So I could work in workshops and teach people all the things that I enjoy doing, and also connect to the community now that I had moved back. And this year, with Broget Clothing, Jennifer Wilkerson is a local artisan, and she's an artist, and she creates clothing from materials that she sources. And all of the artists in residence and Jennifer got together and did a fabric clothing design. Then we made 10 garments that then became a show. And in that, I was like, oh my gosh, it's kind of like our work is cyclical, and it came back to, I have this passion for fabric. I love the art that you can live in. And so I started digging through my fabrics, and that's where these started to grow. So each of these are painted on fabric. This fabric piece here is stretched over canvas stretchers, and it's actually a really kind of sheer fabric, so I layered it, and then I could kind of play with the optics of it a little, because the patterns didn't match up just right, and light could come through the back and bounce off of it, and then I went in with acrylics. And my process is, when I play with acrylics is that I put all complementary colors. So there's an entire complementary color painting of this. There's all purple sunflowers, and then I go over with my other colors over the top, so that you have that interaction and that excitement of colors just on edges. And I think I try and capture just moments. And with working with the fabrics, I was trying to integrate that as much as possible into the fabric, taking kind of everyday objects and seeing the beauty within them, but also playing with material I hadn't played with. So I hadn't gone back and painted on fabric, except back in college painting on my own clothes and things like that. And when we got together with Jennifer and started painting on fabrics again, I was like, oh, I could push this in another direction. So this one is on just stretchers, and this fabric over here is stretched over a birch board. And then I started stretching it over lots of different things, just everything's within my studio, canvas panels and boards. And this again is that same process of stacking up my complementary colors over my final colors, or my more realistic colors. But to me, they really aren't realistic images. They're more the joy of the moment of those images. And sometimes I'll look at a fabric and I'll decide, well, this needs to be a painting of an organic material, like a sunflower. And sometimes I'll look at the fabric and think this has to go abstract, and I'll start messing around with just color and shape and line. So I think for me, being able to share these with people, I'm kind of hoping that they walk up, maybe just look and go, isn't that, maybe get a little closer, interact with them in a different way, and I hope they bring people joy. So that's a little bit about me and my process. You guys have any questions for me? Anything you want? Okay, cool.
That one in watercolor in the middle, is that also done with
This one?
Yeah.
That's Tracy's. She's my friend.
Oh, your friend, okay.
Yeah, this one's me.
Okay.
But this is actually, she does alcohol inks,
Uh-huh.
and she does, well actually this one's probably acrylic inks. It's watercolor and acrylic ink. So what she does, because I know Tracy, hi Tracy, is she works on a watercolor pad. She goes in with all types of water media first, so she's using watercolor, she's drawn down in some water solubles, and then she goes over that with acrylic inks. She plays into it with her fingers and everything else, and then she might drip some alcohol on it, she might spray it in water, and again, then between these two, she starts to pull the object forward. So she doesn't decide this is going to be a tree or this is going to be a flower. She will look for what is there and then paint back into the background with her hands and things to pull those forward. She's a very intuitive painter.
Yeah.
I'm better at talking about her than I am about
Do you have to prepare your material when you're painting? Like, what do you do exactly? You say you're stretching your...
Yeah, so each of these is if you were going to your studio and stretching a canvas fresh off the roll or whatever. So in this one, I'm assembling the stretcher bars, and I'm picking out the fabric that I wanted to do, and I'm actually stretching around, stapling it to the back, trying to tighten it down as much as possible. This is a technique that I just taught yesterday, is putting it down onto a birch bark panel. And I buy books also. I like to do lots of things, but I buy books. And the pH neutral glue that I use for the books, I found out works very well to fuse the fabric to the birch panel. So I start at the top, a lot like when you work in collage, and I'm putting it down mostly with my hands just to get those air bubbles out and stretching it as taut as I can. And then I start either with a clear gesso or just go right in with paint. When you go right in with paint, it kind of sucks it in, and you get these really rough edges. And when you put a gesso down, it kind of sits on top. Thank you.
It's beautiful.
Anything else? Thank you.
Thanks, Tracy, or
Picture
Maria.
with the face.
Sorry, I know.
I really like the picture with the face because of the light quality and that the subtlety of the upper part.
I think that's that light playing on the fabric and messing around with the layers of fabric. And that fabric was so sheer that I was able to kind of, you know when you take two colors and you kind of mess with the optics of them, your overlap, so I was playing with that fabric of where I overlapped it. You can focus in some places and other parts become a little softer.
It's
Put
curious.
this together really beautifully, the whole thing.
Thank you. And I figured out, so I didn't realize why I kept gravitating towards sunflowers, but then I started reading about sunflowers, and sunflowers actually are communities. They're not a single flower. They're a community, isn't it awesome? They're a community of all these tiny little flowers working together. And then, as I kept reading, I found out they soak up radioactivity, and they can be used to actually clean radioactive materials up, which is amazing to me.
Yeah.
And they store it. And then they can also, I don't know, it's just amazing to me. So they heal a place. They work as a group to heal. And I just think that's an amazing metaphor for working together and making things better.
Is there somewhere we could do, was it Roger, is that what you said?
Yeah, the collaborative.
And you helped paint on that fabric?
So we just finished at Arlene's, but then we're talking with Art Night Schenectady for later in the year to have be part of a fashion show that they're gonna do. So it'll be art and fashion. And then from there, we're also gonna be at Create Studios in Troy. So we're gonna go visit them and find out when the gallery show will be there too. So, yeah. Oh, and Main Street Charlton, also, we're going there. And there's to be workshops to learn the techniques that we did.
Oh, very cool.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Maria.